Well, you certainly know how to compliment a woman. Well, if you'll excuse me.
Do you know who I am?
No, I can't say that I do.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Really?
People know me.
Well, I'm very happy for you.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Kizzi's Friday Game Changers, taking your business to the next level.
Coming up on Kizzi's Friday Game Changers.
We know that the markets are going to be down, so we've got to think of other ways of engaging with customers and utilising the skill sets we have in our communities.
And also,
we're not going to be sitting at home playing with the kids in the garden. We need to be thinking about how I can maintain my income, how I can maintain my business, how I can obtain new customers in these difficult times, and also try and retain, other customers that are there as well.
All of this plus a Book of the Week recommendation from Jerry Priss, CEO of Uberall Group, a fantastic elevator pitch from Curio, and music from Kenneth Haffiano, founder of Zabifa. This is exactly what Fridays were made for. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Ray Zen.
Hi, I'm Jamie Martin from Ideal Shopping Direct.
I'm Kate Bell, founder of Zip Us In.
Hi, my name is Eirik Eide Patterson. I'm a co-founder of Seaborg Technologies.
Hi, I'm Katie Farrell, transformation coach, founder of The Catalyst for Life.
Hey everybody, I'm David Frangioni, CEO and co-founder of All Access IDA Inspire and Develop Artists, and you're listening to Kizzi's Friday Game Changer. Check it out.
Welcome to Kizzi's Friday Game Changers
with your host Kizzi and Quatcha,
a show for innovators and motivators, people just like you.
Kizzi is the publisher of Business Game Changer magazine and the property investor, editor of the successful Women in Business book series
and the best-selling Every Entrepreneur's Guide series.
Every week, Kizzi and his guests provide you with the tools you need to take your game-changing business to the next level.
Listen, learn and innovate.
Now meet your host, your mentor and your fellow game changer, Kizzi and Quatcha.
Hello and welcome to the Voice of the Phoenix, brought to you by Kizzi's Friday Game Changers. If you're working in retail, you've had what we euphemistically call an interesting couple of months. The coronavirus has taken its toll on your business and you're struggling to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm hoping that at the end of this week's interview, you'll understand that the greatest danger in times of turbulence isn't the turbulence itself. It's to act with yesterday's logic. And as John F. Kennedy said, change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. This week, I'm talking to Paul O'Donoghue, VP Solution Engineering at Uberall, the brand experience specialist. Paul's a customer engagement and brand experience expert, and in just a few minutes, Paul will be offering advice and insight on how you can adapt your business to the changes brought about by the coronavirus. Don't go away.
Hi, this is Brittany. I'm the CEO of TikTok Sales System. I'm here for Kizzi's Friday Game Changers, the world's #1 podcast experience.
Hello, entrepreneurs. My name is Hernani Alves. I'm the CEO of Balanced IQ Leadership. Congratulations on your journey. It's probably a dream that you've been wanting to pursue for such a long time. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to be easy. And if you talk to these successful entrepreneurs, they're going to tell you the journey is not easy, but it is a fun journey as you're going through. So, wanted to give you some advice on things that you should really do along this journey. And it's balanced accountability. So it starts with, there's 3 P's. So just remember the 3 P's. The first one is personal accountability. Looking at yourself first. The most important person in your business is you. You've got to take care of yourself. Make sure you're out there and learning new information, but also make sure that you're open to feedback from your team and go into these meetings listening. Your idea isn't always going to be the best one in that room. That's okay. Make sure you're able to listen and gather all those ideas so then your team can go out there and execute and they have that ownership. That's the first P. The second P is positive accountability. Catching people doing things right. Don't be that gotcha manager or that seagull manager where they just kind of come in, they poop on whatever's going on and they take off. That's a gotcha manager. What you want to do is go in and catch people doing things right and magnify that. Because once you magnify that positivity, that's what starts to take your company from good to great. And more people will want to get that recognition. And then the last and final P, performance accountability. This is the big one. This is where most leaders directly want to go to first. But first, before you do that, you got to do your personal accountability and your positive accountability. Performance-based accountability, what that is, it's having a metric, something that you can measure. So anything that you're going to roll out in your company initiatives, can you truly measure it? Do you know if you're succeeding or not? And make it a public scoreboard. Make it a public scoreboard for yourself, for your employees, so they can see exactly where they're at all times. You can praise the ones that are doing well, and then the bottom performers, you're going to go in there and coach them and improve them to get to that next level, and they will appreciate that feedback. Well, congratulations, entrepreneur. Enjoy this ride. It will be quick and fast and very rewarding.
Hi, this is Sandra Spataro, co-CEO and co-founder of InspireCore. My Friday wouldn't be the same without Kizzi's Friday Game Changers.
Thanks for dropping in. This is the voice of the Phoenix, and I'm in the studio talking to Paul O'Donoghue, VP Solution Engineering at Uberall. But before we go to Paul, I want to say a big hello to Anne McEwen, a highly regarded master coach and the owner of 2mpower.co coaching company. Anne is originally from Scotland and now she lives in Sydney, of all places, with her husband and two daughters, Maris and Megan, the two M's in 2M Power. And to find out more about Anne and what she does, go and visit her at 2mpower.co and tell her that Kizzi sent you. Okay, job done. Paul, it's great to have you join me.
Hi, Kizzi. It's great to be here. Pleasure to be sort of sharing some insights with you and your audience.
It's good to have you with us, Paul. Before we dive into this week's conversation, tell us a little bit more about Uberall, what you do and why does it matter?
Okay, yeah. I try and keep it as simple as possible. Essentially, Uberall is a near-me brand experience platform. And by this, our technology, which is a SaaS cloud-based technology, helps businesses to connect with their customers nearby. So when you're making a search on your phone, your smartphone, or your desktop, or your voice assistant, Siri, Alexa, or your in-car sat-nav, and you're searching for like a grocery store near me, we allow companies to have all of their information about them in search at the right time. So when you are making that search for grocery store near me, those results are correct and your customers are seeing them. So if your Waitrose, all of your opening hours are there and customers can see your information. So basically any public information about your company, whether you are an SMB or an enterprise corporate, our technology helps you to make sure that that information is up to date and out in the public environment when your customers are searching for your products and your services.
That makes a lot of sense. Let's move over to what's going on around us. Recent headlines have been filled with stories about the damage to the retail sector caused by the coronavirus outbreak. Now, lots of businesses are scrambling to adjust and they're not sure of what to do. Paul, what are the practical steps businesses should be taking in light of the changes brought about by the coronavirus?
Yeah, and that's a really key sort of question that lots of companies are thinking about. Lots of companies are also trying to provide answers to as well. I know that sort of my inbox is inundated with advice, from the people I would normally not expect advice from. Telling me sort of, how to sort of, communicate with my customers and, as our business. And then also from, the retail brands that I may shop with, giving me advice and information, which is really interesting and important. And I think that there is a lot of information being pushed out at the moment. And, it's hard for companies, large and small, to be able to really sort of, understand or cut through and find, what is the best solution for them. And I think there for me and for us, we've been doing a lot of work, as you can imagine, the technology that Uberall runs, we've had a lot of large and small companies using our technology to manage their special opening hours on Google Search and Apple Maps and places like that. And so we've been speaking to a lot of companies about, some of the best practices that we're seeing from companies. And it kind of doubles up into, what you do now, and then, what you do as we start to exit this period of uncertainty, as we come out of lockdown. And there are sort of 4/5 key areas. And, we can elaborate on those, but essentially, communicating well with customers, updating business listings and public information about your business, revisit your marketing plans, change the things that you're doing. Definitely get creative. And sort of the fifth one is, as we come out of lockdown, the 4 previous principles do apply. So you've got to communicate well, and you've got to do all of those things again to let people know about what you're doing as a business and how you're back in the game. So we can go through those, and I can talk about sort of various elements and aspects of that. And if there's some of you want to start, Kizzi, you let me know.
Okay, well, I've just written down a few notes as you're talking. So one of the areas that you touched on was communicating better with customers. What do you mean by that?
Well, I don't want to say it's probably the most important, because I think some of these things are all equally as important. So, when you think about communicating well with your customers, avoid making your communications too general or too corporate. Consumers, as I said, we're being inundated. And I look at myself as a consumer. I'm a Class A consumer. I'm a 50-year-old millennial. It's kind of strange because I work within this retail environment. I'm affected by the technologies and the behaviors that companies are pushing at me, and I touch base in so many different ways with the companies I want to do business with. But we are being inundated with COVID-19 emails from most of the companies we've ever done business with. And rather than another sort of generic sounding email, it's critical to be authentic. When you're talking to your customers, share the information that will actually help them address their most important concerns. And that's really important. Don't try and oversell out of the gate. Let your customers know what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it, the changes that you're making to your business. And then, sit back and don't do too much, from the get-go. Things like adjusting your home pages. Again, whether you are a global corporate, a national business, or an SMB, people are still searching. Search behaviors and search patterns are changing. And as part of my life, I'm constantly looking at, the changes in search behaviors, and especially around local search. So when I'm looking for things near me, and I'm looking for, grocery stores and things like that, and we've seen that, local search declined by 10% there or thereabouts in terms of sort of, Google searches at the sort of the very start, sort of, January to February. And then it's kind of now balanced out because people are using near me searches as a new way of finding information that they didn't have to find before. So we know that sort of airline and travel services and things like that are, they're way down, and so are restaurants. But it's looking at things like, food delivery, fitness equipment, and things like that. So, letting people know about what you're doing and how you're doing it on your homepage, or have a special page set up so that you can direct people to this information is great. And also, if you structure that page in the right way, using things like structured data, that can get picked up and put into, search results. So as part of your sort of, search engine optimization sort of plans as well. And we've seen this done really well with, the NHS and the way that they have communicated through all of their different touch points through their hospitals, various sort of, healthcare practitioners down to GPs. The message is really consistent, and it's been updated all at the same time, which is really good. But also let customers know what's going on in a really simple and direct way. If you're shutting down your offline business, are you still offering online? If it takes you a couple of weeks to change your business, don't think that you've lost that customer base. Still communicate with them, because it isn't easy just to switch a business model when you really haven't been sort of in that mindset, and especially for sort of SMBs. There's always new opportunities. And I know myself, I'm searching for different ways to find fresh groceries. I don't want to leave my house. I don't want to go and queue up at my my supermarket. So I'm looking at using hotel suppliers that are now no longer serving hotels and international stores where I wouldn't normally go to, and I'm using things like pak choy instead of other types of food. So, but I'm having to search in different ways, to get this information, and these businesses have to let me know that they're doing this. And it's really important that we sort of don't think that it's all over. We've got to maintain consistency the same way that the government will communicate to us as individuals about the constant reinforcing of stay home, etc., and keep social distancing. As a business, you have to keep reminding your customers because of all these informations and all of these different messages that are coming through that these are going on. And then I think be genuinely helpful. Try and find something different that you can do as a business that you may not have been doing before. BP are offering free fuel for emergency services. And free delivery of food for its elderly customers. Pret a Manger offering, 50% off NHS workers, coffees and things like that. And Estee Lauder, reopening manufacturing to produce, hand sanitizing gels. Try and be genuinely helpful. So, if you're not reaching your normal customer base, but you've got this workforce, if you've got facilities, you've got services, then try and think of different ways to help your customers. And also then communicating on multiple channels. That's really important, making sure that you are across all of your different social media channels, and you are using email and the website effectively. So there's lots to consider and lots to think about there. And some may not apply to these all of these things may not apply to a business, but if there's one or two things in there that you need to be thinking about, then really consider it, because it's a constant ongoing thing. We know that potentially the lockdown in the UK may be extending for another period of time. So again, we've got to think about how we can be effective in this time.
It sounds like a lot of what you're saying requires a degree of flexibility and nimbleness on behalf of the organization, because nobody anticipated the changes that coronavirus has forced upon us, but we've got to respond to it. And I'm wondering just how quickly can large organizations, I'm talking about your UBMs and your EMAPs of the world, respond to this coronavirus and communicate better with their customers by changing the way they communicate. How practical is this really for large organizations?
I think, there are great challenges there because of the diversity of touch points that larger organizations have and trying to manage and control, messaging. But also, there are great people that work and eat, sleep, live, breathe within these organizations that can be pulled upon to really at these difficult times use their creativity and use their skills that they've been honing in different areas. So I think there is a massive degree of flexibility, but what you're seeing it's kind of a freeing of the mind. We're seeing great things come out of large corporations that we've never really expected before. We know that the markets are going to be down, so we've got to think of other ways of engaging with customers and utilizing the skill sets we have in our communities. And that's one of the really great things that's coming out of this. It's the community activity and thinking, how can I help someone? What can we do as a business to help someone? And we're seeing that trend now. Before, at the start, it was a little bit of panic. We're still here. We want to sell you things. Now it's okay. Let's shift and go back to think of our CSR values and start thinking about how we can start to communicate out as a business. And I think in some ways it's somewhat easier because you have a workforce that are looking inward for direction and they're looking inward for management to help them to understand what they need to do. And it's where good management comes to call and says, right, okay, look, this is how we're going to be doing this. And let's talk about how we can communicate and how we can be effective. And we've seen examples of the bad of this, during the early days of our lockdown in the UK and across the world. But, very quickly, we're seeing those elements reverse and people are going, okay, we need to do this differently. And it doesn't take many people to make a bad mistake. It doesn't take many people to make things good and proper and right. And I think that the larger the company, sometimes it's kind of easier to say, look, hold on, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to start to communicate. So you've got that control over, the messages and the communications that you're putting out there.
How closely is the idea of communicating well with your customers linked to updating your business information?
Oh, incredibly important. It's incredibly important anyway. When you think about, we just had a bank holiday, which is one of those great examples that, you drive down to your local supermarket and 12 o'clock and it's not open on Good Friday. So on Good Friday or Easter Monday. Yeah, on their website you've checked and it says that they're open on Monday, and you're disappointed. It leaves a bad taste in the mouth. It's a bad customer experience. So at any time it's important to have your information updated. But now it's more important than ever to have your business information updated. And it's not just about things like opening hours, where Google have done, with Google My Business, which is the part of Google that allows any company, whether you are a one-man band or a 10,000 person corporation, to register your business and have your business information available across Google search, and you can update various things on there. And Google have done a lot of good, as all other search engines and all other sort of public environments have done as well, in terms of, introducing things like flexibility on special opening hours, where you have your normal 9 to 5s, but now they're allowing you to sort of change the way that you can put your opening hours into Google My Business, and also using things like, descriptions and photographs and other sort of elements and other ways of making your information accessible, but then also making sure that you're doing that across not just Google, but across all other environments like Facebook or Yellow Pages and all these other sort of directory environments that you need to communicate this information to. But then also, updating information on your website is important, and having local landing pages or local store pages or local office pages where you are updating information, and making sure that you are on top of that, and making sure that your customers, when they're searching for you, as I said previously, we're doing searches now for things that we never did, and we're using local search as a kind of a standby e-commerce platform. So if I go to Amazon and look for a product I can't get, or I know I can't get a delivery slot at my local supermarket, I'm now using a search. I'm searching for, fresh fruit near me, or I'm searching for other services. So for all companies, it's important to make sure that your information is updated, that your opening hours are there, your hours of business are there, your contact information are there. Any changes to your contact information, a lot of retailers are somewhat overwhelmed by demand in some areas, and they can't speak to people, don't have call centers open. So again, making sure that information about your business is up to date is crucial. And that's where you're starting to see really good companies rise to the top and really sort of set their stall out, really, in terms of being exact and being correct. It's confusing and it's scary for people trying to find new and different ways of behaving in their everyday life. And you have to make it as easy as possible for them to understand. And it can be incredibly frustrating, as we all know. If you try and find something and it says that it's available and it's not, whether it's a product or a store or whatever it is, it needs to be exact. So it's incredibly important to have as much information about your business, as much public information about your business, as up to date as possible. And these key touch points are Google My Business, all the other sort of, social touch points where people are interacting with your business and your brand, and then also on your web page, on your website as well. And whether that is a special page that you set up for COVID, or whether it is on, local retail landing pages for stores in particular areas. Definitely get those messages out and get them up to date, because that is really going to help you.
Okay, I hear you, and I think what you're saying does actually make a lot of sense. I've taken on board the idea of communicating well with my customers. I understand the importance of updating my business information. That's really valuable. But why have I got to revisit my marketing plans?
Oh, the obvious is, marketing as we knew it 3 months ago, in terms of how your customers are behaving and interacting with you, has changed. So whether it's, simply, not cutting completely, if you're a business that can still service and can still, communicate and provide information to customers, it's really important that you change the way that you market. You still have to let people know that you are there and that you are about. I think, one of the most basic examples is if I'm a pub and I'm now doing a delivery service. If I'm a restaurant and I'm doing a delivery service, I need to, change the way I've marketed my business to let someone know I'm doing this. If I'm a retailer with a shop front and I'm now going online only, I need to change the way I'm communicating to let my customers know how they can talk to me and how they can, get my products and services. If I'm creating new products and new services, again, I have to shift and think about the different ways that I need to be communicating this. So, for some companies, it's really hard and it's really difficult, and there may not be a solution because you just simply can't, provide the services that you are providing. But for others, who are being really creative, which is that final point, you need to still communicate with it. But it's also, and this is quite a difficult, potentially difficult topic in terms of, it's also an opportunity to take advantage and to increase some of your marketing expenditure. I'm pretty sure that some of the larger corporations are still letting us know that their services and their products are available, and have a look and readdress your SEO strategy. Have a look at your PPC advertising. Have a look at your sort of offline. Is there an opportunity here that when I haven't got too many competitors that aren't being as creative as I am as a business, to then push that service forward as well? So there is opportunity here. So you do need to, update existing campaigns and look at the creative content that is relevant and related to the situation that we're in now. So as a business, we're not going to be sitting at home playing with the kids in the garden. We need to be thinking about how I can maintain my income, how I can maintain my business, how I can obtain new customers in these difficult times, and also try and retain, other customers that are there as well.
I'm wondering just how closely the idea of revisiting marketing plans is then tied in with the suggestion that you made earlier that businesses should now consider becoming more creative if they want to adapt to the challenges of this coronavirus. No,
most definitely, and that's that's one of the great things that we have to take positives from what we're doing now, and when you look at the way that customers have to think about it, my local greengrocer down my high street, did not have a contactless payment service, before this happened, and that's a really simple, basic way of thinking about how I can service my customers, because, I have to be able to, have some sort of, virtual payment system, and being creative and seeing the wonderful things that we're seeing coming out of, LVMH turning its plants into, hand sanitizers as well. There's just various different examples of it. And, whether it is the great one over the bank holiday weekend was, the movie studios and the release of the new Trolls movie. You can't get to a cinema, but, we're allowing you to download it through, various other online streaming platforms. That's a really creative way that's never been done before, and that's really good. And that's doing a number of things to the community, not only, not just for, the Disney Studios customers directly and cinemas, but it's also, helping us when we're at home and the kids are driving us crazy and, you can't get out, and it's a distraction from, it's great positive, mental health, just trying to do things differently. And I will keep coming back to, the things that we do and we take for granted on every day, go into a restaurant, go into a pub, going out for coffee, some of the interesting ways that companies have had to not only reinvigorate their own workforce and kind of keep them working, but also their customer base as well, where you have, restaurants that are doing pop-up stalls, to sell produce. I think that's fantastic, and making sure that things like, cancellation of trade shows and how we can do, going back to what you were saying, the conversation we had earlier on today about will companies change the way they do business, through, social distancing and video conference calling, things like that, virtual events, and other ways to deliver content. So you have to be really creative. And that can be difficult, but also that can be fun. And I think, we're seeing some really good examples of creativity all the way through this. And there is a link for all of this, communication, updating, marketing opportunities, getting creative. And then, that final point of, as you come out of this lockdown, applying these same principles, but a different and a new, refreshed, invigorated approach as you then, have this new business that you may have created or new products and services that you have created going forward.
Very wise words. Before we continue with our chat, we're going to take a quick music break, have a cup of tea and listen to some music. This week's incredibly talented entrepreneur is 33-year-old Ghanaian entrepreneur Kenneth Hafiano. Kenneth is the founder of Zabifa, an ethical fashion brand based in Ho, Volta region, Ghana. When Kenneth's not training people in the fine art of batik, it's also, I'm sure you'll agree, a very, very talented musician. Here he is performing Believe in You. Have a listen.
C'est moi, Kizzi, sur cette mélodie. Slim, give me beat. They don't wanna believe in me.
I'm Brian Stolley, founding partner of Wildcat Venture Partners.
Hey, Tangerlee here, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. I'm a leadership and mindset specialist for real estate and property professionals.
Hi, I'm Jonathan from Amplify.
Hi, I'm Johnny Combe, CEO of Pay by Phone UK.
I'm Kenneth Hafiano, the founder of Jogwefa, an ethical fashion brand based in Ho, Volta region, Ghana. My Friday is never the same without Kizzi's Friday Game Changers.
How can I believe in your dreams? Je connais mes amis, mes ennemis. Je connais tous ceux qui m'apprécient. Je connais qui ma vie. Akbia me penya wenya reka mulio yeta me swasi de tonu le ponu begereka. Ela me karo ma unye jibena dema hey. Ela va when I'm gereka. Ela va when I'm gereka. Me kare ma uji beda dema hey. Ela va when I'm gereka. Hey, a journey of 1,000 miles begin with a step. So get up, stand up, do something best for yourself. You can't sit always and be asking for a help. Man, put it on your knee, forgot to put it on your head. Believe in yourself and say that you can. Believe in yourself and say that you can. Believe in yourself and say that you can. We're going straight to the top. They don't wanna believe in me. Yeah. How can I believe in them? They don't wanna believe in me. How can I believe in them? You don't wanna believe in me. How can I believe in you? You don't wanna believe in me. How can I believe in you? You don't wanna believe in me. How can I believe in you? You don't wanna believe in my dreams. How can I
Hi, my name's Andy Cracknell, Digital Awareness Game Changer Strategist at the GC Index, and I've been a game changer for 14,600 days. That's why I listen to Kizzi's Friday Game Changers.
They don't wanna believe in me. How can I believe in them? They don't wanna believe in me. How can I believe in them? You don't wanna believe.
Get in touch with Kizzi's Friday Game Changers by emailing fridaygamechangers@email.com and follow us on Twitter by searching for Kizzi's Friday Game Changers.
How can I believe in you? You don't wanna believe in my dreams. How can I believe in your dreams?
Kizzi's Friday Game Changer, Book of the Week.
Hi, this is Jerry Price, CEO of Avari Group, a media and marketing services company with a portfolio of specialty firms dedicated to providing strategic content solutions for a wide range of companies and brands. The business book I'm recommending is The Boys in the Boat by Daniel James Brown. It's a powerful and inspiring story about the 1936 U.S. Olympic rowing team that won the gold medal, shocking the world and particularly Hitler's Germany at the Berlin Games. In reading the book, I found the author provided an extraordinary metaphor to effectively run a business. Through the shared philosophy of George Yeoman Pocock, a leading designer and builder of racing shells who outfitted the U.S. team, the reader learns the values of dedication to tradecraft, the effective application of data with innovation, purposeful collaboration, sacrifice, and resulting harmony to achieve success. When approaching the creation of our new headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky, Brown's book so impressed our team that we allowed its influence to become expressed in our award-winning design. Today, a 42-foot Pocock cedar racing shell hangs suspended over 2 floors of the office as a wonderful piece of art, symbolic of our focus on collaboration. Our walls are covered with graphics that promote the importance of the quality of the journey as well as the achievement of results. The Boys in the Boat has had an enduring impact on our culture, from how we recruit talent to leadership training to program management. Beyond a story well told, it's a challenge for all of us to a life well lived.
Kizzi's Friday Game Changers Elevator Pitch of the Week.
Please stand back from the closing doors. Please select a level. Going up.
I am Justas Janauskas, the co-founder of Curio. Curio is an app that helps people to find answers to problems you can't just Google. From learning how to monetize your business idea to growing your own tomatoes at home, the app connects curious individuals. As humans, we rarely have all the answers, but it's hard to find people who have the experience that would be a massive help to our projects. So Curio is using technology to create a community of people who are willing to share and learn from each other. By tapping into the knowledge, experience, and wisdom of others, we can fuel personal and business growth, and yes, create a better future.
Top floor, good luck.
Welcome back. Before the break, you're listening to Kenneth Haffiano, founder of Zabifa, an ethical fashion brand based in Ho, Volta region, Ghana. And Kenneth was singing Believe in You. I'm in the studio talking to Paul O'Donoghue, VP Solution Engineering at Uberall. But before we continue our conversation with Paul, I wanted to remind you that Business Game Changer magazine is producing a 2020 showcase of the outstanding UK-based women in business. The UK's Top 10 Women in Business Award recognises the outstanding contribution made by individual UK-based business women. This contribution is either to their business, their local communities, or by inspiring and mentoring other entrepreneurs. For information about how to nominate yourself, a colleague, or a client for inclusion in the UK's Top 10 Women in Business, email businesseditor@email.com. That email address again is businesseditor@email.com. That's it, job done. Paul, we're at the past, present, and future part of the show. Now, just in case you don't know what it means that I'm going to ask you 3 easy questions that will hopefully give us a unique insight into the mind of game changer Paul O'Donoghue. Will you submit to the program?
Yes, definitely.
That's a very emphatic yes, by God, you will submit.
I'm not sure if I can answer them correctly, but let's give it a go.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Look, I just want you to relax, breathe deeply, have a massage, have a sandwich. This is going to be great fun. As we're talking, you probably hear the sound of a clock ticking, and that's the sound of time ticking by second after second. Let's start with the past. Imagine yourself traveling back 20 years to meet the young Paul O'Donoghue, who's just starting out on his goal to become a successful game-changing business leader. Paul asks you for one strategy that will help him grow his business. What do you tell him?
Invent the iPhone. No, in all seriousness, I would say listen to the people around you, your colleagues, your staff, because that's where inspiration and the great ideas that are going to drive your business are going to come from. It can't come all from you. You have to listen to the people around you.
That's the sort of lesson that you kind of learn as you get older and wiser. I'm just wondering, if you went back 20 years to meet the young Paul, would he have understood what that meant? Would he have listened?
No, absolutely not. He would have been too interested in probably imbibing with colleagues rather than listening to them. And I think that, it's a different times now. And I think that, companies, you see it more and more, whether it's, the myriad of different startups, like, think out of the box and phrases like this, are more important now. And I think that comes, great ideas. These are the things that, I as an individual, I used to think that I was at the center of everything that I did, whether it was working, for large news corporations, or whether it was creating, a really good, unique digital marketing business. I thought everything flowed through me at that young age. And whether it is arrogance or confidence, I don't know. But, the one thing I will definitely, I would definitely have said to my younger self is, take a breath, listen to what is going on around you. You don't have to answer all the questions yourself.
Yeah, I think we all understand that, and we've all been in that same position. I suspect that if we didn't have that incredible sense of self-belief and that the feeling that we were at the center of the universe, we probably wouldn't go on to do some of the amazing things that we've done, would we?
Correct. Oh, absolutely. There is a lot of selfishness and a lot of self-belief that drives individuals forward. And I think that when you look at, how, how great companies have come, whether they're large or small companies, it doesn't matter. The best companies are the companies that integrate and, work well internally with their people, that whether it is, a small SMB business that, is working out of a high street store, and that person that's running that business is talking to their friends, of their family, of husband, wife, kids. They're getting ideas, and it's making them a better business. And whether it's Apple or Microsoft or these large, great big corporates, it's talking and listening to your peers that allow you to develop great products and great services and great companies. And I get really frustrated when I hear companies talk about the values. I get really frustrated when I hear companies talk about the values that I have as a business based around people and efficacy of behavior, and they really don't follow those through. And it is so important that we do actually listen to the people that work in the companies that we're in, and our colleagues and our peers, and give them the respect that they are due. Whether it's someone on day one of their job or someone on day 1,000 of their job. We're all important. We're here for a reason, and we all have to be heard. Otherwise, what's the point? And if we don't listen to the people around us, then we're all doing something wrong. I don't care if you're a chief executive, or an intern. You have a brain, you have an idea, and that has to be considered and listened to. There's no one great single authority now.
I hear you. It doesn't matter who you are and what you do within the organization, you've got a role to play. Yeah. Let's move into the present. Paul, what is one habit of yours that makes you more productive?
The fear of being found out. It's not a habit, it's more of a mindset. I have a constant fear of being found out, and I know that's not uncommon sort of mindset, but I think it's the thing that drives me. And how I overcome that is the habit of preparation. If I'm prepared, then I've done everything I could do. If I come into a conversation with you, Kizzi, and I haven't thought about what I'm going to be talking about, and made a few notes and tried to, I can never second guess what we're going to discuss. You can never second guess what a customer's going to say in a meeting. You can never second guess how good a product is going to be when you release it, but you've got to prepare, and that whole, saying of, failing to prepare to fail is so important. And I overcome all of my internal demons by just trying to prepare. That's the one habit I have. You know, I have notes everywhere. People laugh at me. In I'm probably the oldest person in my business. I only use a pencil and I use a mouse. You know, and things like this. And it's these are my habits. You know, I use a pencil because I can rub it out and I can start again. You know, and it's just one of those little things that makes me comfortable about what I'm doing and the way that I do it. So yeah, I mean, preparation is the one habit I have now that sort of keeps me sane and hopefully, you know, on a level path.
So if preparation keeps you sane and you like to kind of have an idea of what's around the corner for you, how do you handle uncertainty? Are you comfortable with it?
Depends on what the context of that uncertainty is. I'm really comfortable with uncertainty, you know, because that's when all of the things that you've learned over years, that's when all of the people around you, you know, that's when, you know, whether it's your current company you're working for now or a network of peers, or there's something, you know, that you can draw upon, you know, to help you overcome the uncertainty. And sometimes it's quite nice just to, you know, go into something and just let it unfold, before you try and second guess what the outcome is going to be. You know, so uncertainty in various contexts is scary. But I think that we all have the ability to overcome uncertainty by, you know, trying to use the tools around us. And those tools don't necessarily have to be, you know, a machine. It could be a human being, you know, and each human being has wonderful qualities that are unique to them. And you've got to understand which human beings you need to tap into to overcome various obstacles and various challenges and uncertainties that you are facing.
All right, I get you. I'm writing down notes as you're talking, something I need to remember this stuff for the future. Let's move into the future. Paul, how would you like to be remembered in, say, 50 years from now?
Wow. A good guy. That's it. No matter what, a good guy. You know, someone that was always positive, challenging, you know, grumpy by nature as I get older, but, you know, a good guy that someone could turn to, that my work was always to the required level, if not beyond. You know, I'm a vice president of solution engineering. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm a qualified, trained engineer, you know, and solution engineering is something that is perfect for my experience because it pulls on a number of different things. You know, I have to think about in a number of different ways how something works, how it's going to connect, how it's going to solve a particular use case. Who can I help me to understand what this is? And it is drawing across every single aspect of the business that I work in. And I have to be a little bit, and my team have to be like Switzerland. We have to get on with everyone and be very neutral. And, you know, we ultimately have to be, you know, seen as good guys because we're trying to solve a problem that wasn't there before and to help people. And I think that, you know, in everything that I've done in my life, everything I've done has been for the good, apart from obviously the mistakes I've made, because I've done plenty of them. But those mistakes have not been born out of sort of being bad. You know, I'd like to be seen as, you know, remembered as a good guy that just wanted to solve problems. And some of those problems he solved were pretty good.
I suspect that you will achieve that goal of being remembered as a good guy because you've certainly brightened up my day and you've certainly offered us insight and advice that will hopefully make a huge difference to a lot of our listeners' businesses. Paul, I've got to say, it's been an amazing pleasure talking to you. And I know that our conversation will continue over the years. So let's make this the first of many, shall we?
Definitely. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed connecting with you. And, you know, I'm sure, as you are, that our paths have crossed. And I really do hope that they will cross many times in the future, Kizzi. So, you know, let's keep this going. You're doing a great job. And, you know, let's keep helping the businesses out there to thrive and continue to be good and great.
Brilliant stuff. Listen, while I've got you here, before you go, is there anyone who may be listening that you'd like to say hello to?
Good question. One person, you know, there's a guy, he works in my business. Not my business, the business that I work in Uberall. His name is Greg Sterling. He is our VP for Insights. He's based over in San Francisco. And that guy, he has been so busy. And a lot of what I talk about today, has come from Greg. He's been looking at the effect of COVID for brands, the things that you should do, the FAQs for businesses, how it's impacting local search. He's got a webinar, and I'm not just doing this to talk about a webinar he's got coming up, a webinar about sort of, how businesses and brands can survive coming out of lockdown. He's been an inspiration because, he's had to chip away at a coalface, which is a very uncertain and not a very nice coalface, but he's done a fantastic, positive job about this. And it has helped a ton of companies globally to make the best of this bad situation we're in, and a big shout out to sort of, Greg Sterling for continuing to be the great human being that he is being and providing wonderful insights that help businesses, large and small, to grow and be better and to survive in these difficult times.
Yeah, Greg sounds like another good guy.
He is. Not as good as me, but he's a good guy.
No one's as good as you, Paul, but he's heading there.
Yeah, he's great. He's a constant inspiration to us as a business. It's good to have him around.
Well, the short time I've spent with Paul has reminded me that the art of life and business is a constant readjustment to our surroundings. We have to learn to adjust ourselves to the conditions we have to endure, but also we've got to make a point of trying to alter or correct conditions so that they are most favorable to us. This is a lesson that game changers like Paul O'Donoghue are teaching us every day. Listen, learn, and innovate. Playing us out is Kenneth Haffiano, founder of Zabifa, and this track's called Thank You for My Life. See you next week.
Yeah. Thank you for my life. Yeah. For all the good things you've been doing for me. You have done it for free. Thank you for our lives. Yeah. For all the good things you
love this game-changing interview? Share your thoughts by posting a comment. Sharing is caring.
Thank you for their lives. Yeah. For all the great things you've been doing for them. You still do all for free, yeah. Thank you for the life of the motherless kids on the street. And I thank you for the ghetto youth hustling every day for what to eat. Money, car, house to live in is necessary, but life first, good health for the family. Some of they are trying to take away authority. Tomorrow that comes, nobody could decide it. Your plan may work, doesn't mean you in controlling. Jah gives and nobody could decide it. Nobody decides for life. Thank you for my life, yeah. For all the good things you've been doing for me. You have done it for free. Thank you for our lives, yeah. For all the great things you've been doing for us. You still do more for free. Thank you for their lives, yeah. For all the great things you've been doing for them too. You still do all for free, yeah. I'm all like I'm a bay, yo talk with Anyola. Yo no vyo tona play. Mi so agbe chiko ademila ikunyo uyema. Funo ya deleke yema. Kobale bang bang kwa agbe awo mate pleo. Presida Katmanda vo awo mate pleo de. Agbe ale vevede.
Hi, I'm Johnny Combe, CEO of Pay by Phone UK, and my Friday would not be complete without Kizzi's Friday Game Changers.
Merci pour la force et la vie. Toutes les maladies sont guéries. La plus nécessaire c'est la vie. Laisse-moi vivre comme je veux. La plus nécessaire c'est la vie. Toutes les maladies sont guéries. Plus nécessaire c'est la vie. Laisse-moi vivre comme je veux. Yeah. For all the good things you've been doing for me, you have done it for free. Thank you for my life. Yeah. For all the great things you've been doing for my friends too, you still do all for free. Thank you for their lives. Yeah. For all
the world famous Game Changer Show. Game Changer Show. Game Changer Show.
You still do all for free.